Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Thank you so much for joining us today for our Fed Friday Facebook Live webinar. It's 9:58 right now. We're going to be getting started promptly at 10 a.m. So I appreciate everyone who has logged on early to join us. I'm Darlene Jenkins and
Rita Bailey Rowland. Good morning, good morning, good morning.
I think that feedback is coming from Facebook, and I don't know. Hopefully, it will not interfere too much with us. I don't know. Okay, let me try. Okay, you all, let me just try to get off of the internet on Facebook. I think that's where the feedback is coming. Again, we're still new at this. This is our third week, right, Rita? So we're going to get over here. They can't see your wonderful face this morning. So let me try to get this worked out real quick. All right, we back. Can you hear us good now?
You could just put in your
In your
question
Q&A, can you just let me know that you can hear us and still see our screen real quick for us, please? Along the top of your screen, you'll see some controls. It says Q&A. If you could click on that, open it up, and type in, yes, we see you, yes, we can hear you. We will go ahead and proceed with the Fed Friday.
Thank you, Naomi.
All right. Good morning, everyone. It is Fed Friday. Again, I'm Darlene Jenkins.
And I am Rita Bailey. Just wanted you to know that this session today, we're going to be talking about thrift saving plan, and none other than the Miss Darlene Jenkins will be presenting with you today. I will come back in the end and say a few words, but we just wanted to again thank you for tuning in. Each week we're going to bring you some good information that's going to help you make some really good decisions to help you to your financial destination. From our hearts to yours, it is Fed Friday.
Yes, it is. All right, so let's get going because this series, while we're on here, all of our presentations are going to last about 15 to 20 minutes. So, as you know, we're going over in this series, Understanding Your Federal Employee Benefits. That's the Fed Friday series. And please, everyone, we're on here giving information, but this presentation is generic in nature. So without us actually knowing what your individual situation is, please take it as general. Again, if you're out there watching, you are allowed to, we'll be more than happy, not allowed, for you to sit down and talk with us so we can discuss what your concerns are on an individual basis. So again, please accept this information as general in nature, and thank you so much for understanding that. So as we said, when you join us on Facebook Live, as you invite new people, like us on Facebook at Facebook/Your AV Solutions Inc. And you want to register for the webinar series. In case you can't get on Facebook, because you can download the Zoom app and attend the live webinar right from your mobile device. And you register at, it's on the screen, RitaBRowlandEvents.com. Now, these are the questions that we are going over with you. You can read them on the screen. You know, we want to help you find out, what is your income replacement percentage? How much money are you going to need to retire comfortably? What happens if I pass, you know, and my husband is still here? What happens to his income? What happens to my income if he passes away first? You know, how much life insurance? So those are just some of the things that we're going to be going through. This is an ongoing series, so make sure you come back each week. So as we go over, as I said, we've already started going over the retirement system, SERS, offset, and FERS. We're also today doing the thrift savings plan, and we may get more into it next week if we don't finish up everything here. Also, Social Security, income replacement, retirement option solutions, long-term care, the group life insurance. Again, these are future broadcasts. And now, after you all have told us all of that, where am I supposed to go now? Where do you go? What do? You come to us at Affordable Benefit Solutions so we can help put together a roadmap for your retirement. So, as we get into it, the thrift savings plan. This is the 401k, basically for the federal employees. Also, it's voluntary payroll deductions. Now, in the beginning, you didn't have to participate in TSP, but all new hires after December 31st, 2012, they automatically enroll you in it, 3%. Also, your deductions are pre-tax, meaning they come out of your check before you pay taxes on them. However, they added a new component, the Roth, so those contributions come out after tax. So when they come out pre-tax, your contributions are tax deferred. Now, I hope you all like all of our animations. It's throwing me off a little bit, so I think I'm gonna get rid of some of that. So in the TSP, though, you have 6 investment funds, and I'll get into that. You also have what's called a catch-up provision if you are age 50 and over. We're going to go over several withdrawal options at retirement for you regarding your TSP. And of course, you pay taxes on the income at retirement if you are in the traditional TSP and not in the Roth. So, what is the catch-up provision? You have to be at least age 50. Then you don't have to wait till you turn 50. The year in which you will turn 50, you can start making those catch-up contributions. The maximum amount that you can contribute for 2017 towards your catch-up contribution is $6,000. Now, you have to, in order to do the catch-up contribution, you have to currently be doing the IRS deferral limit of $18,000. Now, if you want to, you're doing the IRS deferral limit, so you have $18,000 in there going towards your TSP. Then you're going to need to complete form CSP-U-1-C. Again, it's listed right there on the screen. You can elect for your catch-up contributions to be either pre-tax, going to the traditional side of your TSP, or you can elect them to be going to the Roth portion of the TSP in regards to your catch-up. Even if you're not doing the Roth portion for your $18,000, you can still elect the Roth portion for your catch-up contribution. Now, unlike the TSP, your regular contributions, when you do your catch-up contributions, they have to be in whole dollar amounts, okay? And then once you complete the form, you have to sign it, then you return it to your office that is responsible for enrolling people in the TSP. They initially take your form. Now, keep in mind, if you do the catch-up contribution, this is something you have to elect to do every year. It doesn't automatically roll over to 2018. You have to complete this form every year. You can also choose to stop it at any time. There's no specific time to stop it, okay? Again, if you have questions, at the top of your screen, click on Q&A and it'll come to us and Rita will answer that question for you. So Now, what are the funds? So for civil service contributions, you do not have government participation. However, FERS employees, you do have government participation, meaning you're being matched. Civil service employees, you are not being matched. Now, how does the matching work? I know all of the FERS employees, you say, oh, well, I know we're matched 5%. You know, the first 5%, we're matched. But what I'm going to show you is how it does work out to 5%, but I'm going to break down how that matching actually happens. So the government contributes 1% of your pay, whether you choose to participate in the TSP or not. So that's 1% going in for you. Then the government matches you 100% or dollar for dollar for the first 3% of your own money that you put in. So if you're putting in 3%, then you actually have 4% of the government dollars going in. So if you're putting in 3, you have a total contribution of $7 because the government is putting in 3 at that point. Now, for percents 4 and 5, the government is only matching you 50 cents on the dollar. So when you put in $2, the government is only putting in 1 at this point. But remember, they're already contributing that 1%. So that's how it all shakes out to dollar for dollar for the first 5%. But that's the official breakdown of it. And there are no government matching contributions if you decide to do something over the 5%. Okay, going on with the screen now. Here we go. So what are the 5 investment plans in the TSP? First, we have the G fund, or we like to say the guaranteed fund. Why? Because this is invested in short-term risks. It's backed by U.S. securities, okay, that are issued to the TSP specifically. Then you have the F fund, which is the fixed income fund, and this is basically like the bond fund. So because it's invested in and tracks the Lehman Brothers U.S. aggregate bond index. Then you have the C fund. Now the C fund tracks the S&P 500 stock index. And what is the S&P 500? Those are the best performing and generally largest 500 U.S. companies that economists have determined best represents what's going on in our economy. And they're normally the top 500 performing companies. Then you have the S fund. So the S fund, that's a small capitalization in stock index fund. They track the Wilshire 4500 index of smaller U.S. stocks. So that means the next top performing stocks that are not included in the S&P 500. So that's what's in the Wilshire 4500. Then you have the I fund, and this is the international fund. And this fund is tracking the Morgan Stanley EAFA index fund from 20 countries in Europe, Australia, Asia, and the Far East. Again, if you have any questions, please raise your hand, type it in the Q&A, and Rita can get with you. Or again, you're more than welcome to contact us at the email from which you received your invite, and our information will be up at the end so we can go over it with you. Now, the last fund, this is the L fund. And the L fund combines all 5 of the other funds. So the G, E, F, S, and I. They combine it all into one fund. Then you pick the withdrawal date. Basically, what that means is, when do you plan on retiring? That's your withdrawal date. And the funds are set up like L 2020, 30, 40, 50. So when your withdrawal date, meaning your retirement date, that determines what your risk reward profile for that time frame. Meaning, the farther out the retirement date, the more riskier the fund is going to be. So if you're retiring in 2040, then that means the more of the money is going to be going towards the C, S, and I. But remember, you still have money going into other G and F fund as well. So the money, as I said, will be divided into all 5 funds and then automatically, on a periodic basis, reallocate the funds into one of 2 ways. First, they'll look at the actual returns, okay? But then the second thing they do is that the funds will become more conservative as the fund date approaches. So right now, the L2020, that fund has become, and it is becoming, more conservative. What does that mean? They're now putting more of the money in the G and the F fund versus the C, S, and I. There's still money there. However, the larger percentages are in the safer funds. And you say, well, why are they doing that? Well, you're nearing retirement. And what they don't want to happen is that we have another 2008, 2009, or 2001 where the market just dies. And you're trying to walk out the door and you lose 30, 40, 50% of your TSP. And for FERS employees, as we went over last week, that's the 3rd tier of your retirement system. So you can't afford to take a big hit like that as you're getting ready to walk out the door. So one of the mechanisms they have is to make those L funds automatically become more conservative. So you don't have to, every now and then go in and say, okay, well, I want to move this percentage, that percentage. So now let's go over, because they have the TSP Roth, let's go over the difference between the regular traditional and the Roth. So on the left-hand side of your screen, you see the traditional TSP 401k. All of the money goes in pre-tax. You do not pay any taxes on it. Your money grows tax deferred. However, when you get ready to withdraw it, it is 100% taxable when you take it out. You do still have to do the required minimum distribution. That starts at age 70 and a half. Now, on the Roth side, that money goes in after you have paid taxes. It's still counted as, your retirement income. And when you get your end of the year statement, your accountant or whomever you have doing your taxes, get your documents, it will show that you are contributing to a retirement plan, but it is post-tax. So that means all of the growth in the account is tax-free. Why? Because you've already paid the taxes on what has gone in. Now, this is very important. In order for the TSP Roth to stay in that tax-free area, you have to be 59 and a half, and you have to have the account for 5 years before you start withdrawing it out of the TSP. And that is something unique just to the TSP. So, and I'm going to go over it on the next slide, that you really want to consider if you want to do the Roth portion of the TSP if you have less than 5 years to go. But you also, on the Roth side of the TSP, you still have to do the required minimum distribution. So even if you have all of your money going to the Roth TSP, unlike the Roth, when you have it on your own, you still have to do the required minimum distribution at 70 and a half. So now that the Roth is available, what are your options? You don't have to do anything. You don't have to, your money can still go over and stay all pre-tax. Or you can choose to say, hey, now I'm going to go on that I understand. Because when you do the Roth, it's really like catching your taxes on sale. Because let me ask you, you think taxes are going to be going down in the future or taxes are going to be going up? I think taxes may be going up. So right now, taxes are on a fire sale. But everyone's situation is different. And if you sit down with us, we can let you know, discuss with you which option would be best for you. Then keep in mind, if you opt for the Roth, you start participating in the Roth, please know that the agency's money, the government matching money, that 1% automatic, and that other 4% that they put in, that goes still over to the pre-tax side. Even if you choose to do half Roth, half, traditional, the agency money is still going over there. Now, The current law does not allow you to switch your traditional TSP, pay the taxes, and move it over to the Roth side. You cannot do that. What's on the pre-tax traditional side of your TSP stays over there. What now comes over to the Roth side stays over there. Now, some housekeeping rules, because there are two accounts now. You cannot single out just one account to change. If you have both the traditional and the Roth, can't do that. Now, when you say, I want 50 going to the traditional, 50 going to the Roth, your contributions, 50, 2 minutes left. Oh my gracious, y'all. Okay, I'm gonna have to do my speed talking right now. But basically, whatever you do to one side, so your contribution, if you say I want 50% to the Roth and 50% to the traditional, that's where the money goes. When you want to get a loan out, you can't say, oh no, just take the money out of the Roth side. They're going to take it out of both sides. If unfortunately your marriage dissolves and you get a divorce and he or she gets some of your money, guess what? You can't say, well, give him or her all of that traditional money. They're going to give them for both. And again, you still have to do the required distribution. So let's take a look at how your contribution goes into both the traditional and the Roth. This is a good bird's eye picture of how it works. So we took an example of someone who's doing 5% and they're earning $80,000. So their annual contribution is $4,000 a year. So when you have the traditional, because that $4,000 is not being taxed, you're saving about $1,000 in taxes at a 25% tax rate, meaning that $4,000 that you're contributing is really only costing you $3,000 when you put it in. And over 30 years, you've actually contributed $120,000, but what you pay taxes on is only the cost, rather, of that $120,000 contribution is only $90,000 versus when you have the Roth, because now you're paying the taxes. So in addition to contributing that $4,000, you're still paying that $1,000 of taxes, excuse me, in this example. So your Roth contribution is actually costing you $5,000, and over the course of the 30 years, you've now paid $150,000 for your $120,000 contributions. But that's going in. Now, coming out, that's a whole nother story. So under the traditional, that $600,000 that you've saved over the 30 years, now because you now have to pay taxes on all of that, that's costing you $150,000 in taxes that you have to pay. So net, all you're getting is $450,000, while the Roth participants, they're getting their whole $600,000. So things to consider when you're getting the Roth account. Number one, you have to look at your current taxable rate. What is, so, you know, are you doing the traditional because you need a tax break? What you may need is a better tax plan. Also, what are future rates going to be? Like I said, you know, right now, as far as I'm concerned, taxes are on sale because they're going up. Also, the matching portion, as I said, of the government contribution, that's going to the traditional account. And if you are retiring in 5 years, you may, you know, within 5 years, you may want to just go ahead and stick with the traditional account because you will lose your tax deferred, your tax-free status if you take it out and you haven't had it for 5 years, or maybe even consider just mixing the contribution. And so on the screen, you see the 10-year average of what the TSP has been doing. I have some blocking the screen. But you see the returns up there. A lot of people are like, oh, I want to get all of this money from the TSP, you know, these double high digit. But as you can see, that's not the case. You're almost done. Okay. I think they really want you, you know, my computer really wants you to get this information down. Some of you must be writing something down, so go ahead because it's not letting me proceed past this screen. Okay, y'all write faster so my computer can go on to the next thing, okay? What in the world? The aliens must have over. Okay, there we go. So your in-service withdrawal. I hope y'all got all of that because I gave you a lot of time. So the in-service withdrawal rules. You can take the money out as a hardship or a regular loan. Take it out as a hardship withdrawal, then you have to have the documentation. And of course, if it's a hardship, you cannot contribute for 6 months after that. And keep in mind, if you have the traditional side, that money went in pre-tax, but when you're paying it back, you pay it back with after-tax dollars. Or of course, you can do just the regular loan, or you can have an age-based withdrawal, meaning you can take the money out because you're 59 and a half, you vested your account, and it can only be done once. So if you take one, you cannot take another partial withdrawal after you retire. So what are your TSP options when you retire? Number one, you can do nothing, just leave the money in the TSP. But you have two choices. Either you're going to have fixed income fund, you know, and it's safe. You're in the G fund because you don't want to lose your money, but you have a very small return. Or you can put it in the market, but then you have a high chance for returns, but you run the risk of loss. You can no longer make contributions or borrow. You have to do one of the settlement options. Of course, you can also annuitize, meaning say, I want to receive a monthly check. However, when you do that, your whole balance that you have in the TSP, that money is gone. They send that over to MetLife that is currently handling the TSP in exchange for you receiving a monthly check. So the money no longer grows significantly. You can go to the TSP website, tsp.gov, and see the interest rate that they currently pay out on their TSP annuities. It's like 2 point something. So the money isn't growing significantly. Or, you know, you can cash out, withdraw the entire account balance. But one of the biggest fears most retirees have is running out of money. So if you take out all of your money, number one, you're going to have very harmful tax consequences. And the thing you have feared the most will come upon you. You run the risk of running out of money in retirement. Or you can roll it over to a private plan where you own and control your money. So it's approximately 85% of your Social Security, civil service, or your first tax or your first retirement check is taxed, and 100% of your traditional TSP and IRA is taxed. The last money you should take out are your Roth accounts and those specially designed tax-free retirement vehicles. So that's it for today. I think I went a little over, but yeah. But thank you so much for joining us. This is our contact information here on the screen. Again, we're here every Friday, 10 a.m. So please join us. And when you come, bring one with you and have them register and give us a call. Thank you so much for joining us today on the broadcast. And we look forward to seeing you next week.
It's Fed Friday.
Fed Friday.
Have a marvelous weekend. Deuces.